Hello and welcome back to Good Nightmare, a podcast where today we'll be looking at an Australian case which, if you live in Melbourne and have frequented the fancier part of the city where all the theatres are, you might actually be familiar with this story. Today we're looking at the haunting of the Princess Theatre by the spirit of Frederick Federici. Frederick was born in Florence to a military family. He was a unique and talented boy with a passion for the arts. When he later moved to Britain, he decided to pursue a career in singing, and for a time he found work as an operatic singer, a songwriter, and an agent. By the age of 21, he had secured himself a career in the competitive and grand city of London. His career would take him all over the world, beginning in Britain and Ireland, and later moving to America and Australia on tour. Singing was not a very lucrative career, and in 1878, while working at the Royal Aquarium, Frederick declared bankruptcy. It was at this point that he decided to join the army, allegedly to avoid his creditors. His military career, however, would be incredibly short-lived. By 1879, Frederick was out of the army and returned to performing full-time. He met his wife in 1880, and together they had 2 children who would travel with him on tour. It was following a bout of success when Frederick and his family had travelled to Australia to give his performance of a lifetime that he passed. It was in Australia at the Princess Theatre where Frederick Federici would last be seen alive on stage. The Princess Theatre, for some background, is the oldest entertainment site on the mainland of Australia. It originally existed as Astley's Amphitheatre before being transferred to a partnership between J.C. Williamson, George Musgrove and Arthur Garner in 1885. The theatre was redesigned to be extravagant and luxurious and featured the first sliding roof in Australia, as well as stage lighting. It wasn't long after its official reopening in December 1886 that tragedy would strike for one of its most prolific and talented performers. In July 1887, Frederick was playing the part of Florian in Faust when it came time for the final scene. Frederick's character was to descend into hell through a trapdoor in the stage. Witnesses to the play described seeing Frederick slumped over as he disappeared beneath his fellow actors' feet. The final curtain call took place while Frederick Federici was dying, or perhaps already dead of a heart attack, beneath the stage. It wasn't until the play closed that his body was discovered and taken to the green room to be revived. Unfortunately, it was too late for the singer and actor to be saved. He was pronounced dead at 37 years old. What was unusual was that the cast members swore that they saw Frederick, that he'd been on stage with them for the final curtain call, taking his bow and receiving adoration and applause from the crowd. His final moments and critique were presented in the Australian paper named The Press, and it read, "The tragic and appalling occurrence must command universal sympathy and regret. Mr. Federici achieved considerable success both in England and America in comic opera, but he was also an excellent musician and the composer of several songs of more than average merit, and before his association with comic opera had successfully appeared as a vocalist at some of the best concerts in London, including the Monday Popular Concert at St. James Hall. It seems an act almost of irreverence to criticise the performance of an actor who has only just been carried to his grave. Nevertheless, it is his only due and his proper tribute to say that he both sang and acted on Saturday night in a truly artistic manner, and that he has never been seen to greater advantage than he was on that occasion. The theatre was closed on Monday evening, out of respect to the memory of the deceased artist. Since Federici's tragic and sudden passing, many staff members working at the theatre, as well as fellow actors throughout the years, claimed to see an apparition in the dress circle of the theatre quite frequently. In fact, on opening nights, a seat in the third row of the dress circle is often reserved for the friendly spirit of Frederick, in his honour and memory. Those who've met his spirit say there's no threatening presence, but rather that he is kind and gentle, and resides where he last experienced his most passionate career. It seems that although Frederick did pass while on the stage, his spirit may not have been aware that his body had left him, as he took his final bow at his final curtain call. Theatres are places of intense energy, with actors and audience members engaging hour after hour, day after day, experiencing all range of emotions. It's not hard to imagine why they may be some of the most haunted places in the world. If you've had an experience with a spirit, I would love to hear from you. You can always write to me at goodnightmare_s@outlook.com or catch me on Twitter or Instagram at goodnightmare_s. I'm always more than happy to chat with anyone, so shoot me an email or a DM if you want to get in touch. If you're looking for new podcasts to listen to, I've attached a promo to the end of this episode, and I highly recommend that you check out this next podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, sweet dreams.
Are your friends tired of hearing you talk about serial killers?
While you're at a party, have you randomly blurted out the odds of a person being murdered by a complete stranger?
Does your Hulu or Netflix only recommend documentaries on true crime?
If you have answered yes to one or more of these questions, you may have a problem.
And so do we. That's why we started our true crime podcast.
We are the hosts, Cam and Jen. We're lifelong best friends that love to talk about all things true crime. So we decided to start our own podcast, hoping to find others that share our passion.
You can find us on ourtruecrimepodcast.com, or you can download new episodes of Our True Crime Podcast on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, or any other places you download podcasts.
See you on Wednesdays!